to the start of a brand new NBA season. We got a lot to cover on the Knicks. Not really the Nets, but the Knicks. And we'll get to it later on in the show. Tiki Barber will participate in the first ever edition of a new game we created called Brooklyn Net, Random Hockey Player or Foreign Dignitary. We'll play that game a little bit later on. And we'll even mix in some baseball. But yesterday, when Woody Johnson met the media, sort of, at the owners' meetings and gave his opinions on Justin Fields and his opinion on Aaron Glenn, you knew there would be fallout, not just from me as a Jet fan and others as Jet fans reacting, but Aaron Glenn, who already has a tough enough job coaching an 0-7 football team, he was going to have to spend a major portion of his press conference answering questions for something he didn't do. So I want you to listen to a few of the dealings that Aaron Glenn had today, and we will discuss. First, hey, Aaron, your owner thinks your quarterback absolutely sucks. Your thoughts on that?
Well, the first thing I would say, he's an owner, and he has a right to his opinion. And when you look at that, it's really something that's been said across the board from everybody, including Justin. Man, we have to improve, and we understand that. We've gone 2 games without scoring a touchdown, and we have to make sure we get better in that aspect. So we're all on the same page. You know, it might be said different, it might be said with different tones, but we've all been on the same page when it comes to that, when it comes to our running back play, when it comes to our quarterback play, when it comes to our defensive play. So nothing's different about what we've done. We just said it in a different tone, in a different way. So I'm glad we're on the same page on that, even with our quarterbacks. So we're just fine with that.
Yeah, we're just fine.
You know what? I actually got to give Aaron Glenn a little credit for spinning that to be okay.
A little credit? I give him worlds of credit.
Right.
Because that's a no-win situation.
It's a no. As soon as he started, I was like, uh-oh, stop. Don't even go there. Stop. But then he kept talking, and he talked his way into making it sound like we're all on the same page. We just say it differently.
Right.
And that was solid, dude.
I thought that was excellent spin. He could work in a presidential administration.
No doubt.
That was really, really good. The problem is, when your owner speaks, you don't get one softball question at a press conference. You're going to get a few more.
Yes.
So here is Aaron Glenn in an exchange with Rich Cimini, in which Rich surmised the same thing I surmised and the same thing you surmised yesterday, which is the owner's telling you Justin Fields can't play.
Right. Or he doesn't want him to play.
Doesn't want him to play.
And he's terrible, and his rating is bad, and Tyrod Taylor should be the guy.
Yeah. I think we all walked away from those comments saying, boy, the owner's basically telling you he never wants to see Justin Fields again. Here's an exchange between Rich Cimini saying just that and Aaron Glenn saying, all right, screw it. I'm not going to be a dignitary anymore. Now we're going to fight about this.
We know how he feels about Justin. Clearly, he does not want him playing. But does that impact your...
What made you say, did he say that?
Well, he was very critical of him. So
what did he say?
He said he couldn't complete a pass.
Did that say he doesn't like the quarterback?
He said,
Did that say does quarterback's not playing?
No, but
he said
how that his opinion impact your decision with your owner is basically stating that he doesn't think Justin Fields is getting the job.
Well, I said before that Woody puts that in my hand as far as who plays, and I don't see that changing. He trusts me to make that decision. Again, he made a comment, and he has every right to his comment. And again, that comment was actually said by a number of guys, including our quarterback, as far as the efficiency of how we play. And we're not going to fight that. We understand that. We have to get better. We do. But I don't think there's anywhere in that comment where he said he doesn't like Justin. I don't think there's anywhere in that comment where he says that Justin's just, I don't think so. Yes, is he upset that, we haven't completed a pass as far as what you just said? He said, I didn't even read it, so I don't know. That's what he says. But overall, we're on the same page when it comes to that.
So you know what I'm getting out of this?
Go.
Aaron Glenn is basically saying, without saying it, Woody, stop talking. Stop putting me in a position to have to defend you.
Right.
Because I don't want to have to defend your opinion. Because when I took this job, meaning Aaron Glenn, when he took this job, he was assured he was making these decisions. That Muji was making the personnel decisions, not the owner. I mean, in fact, we talked about it yesterday, how he said, I hired these guys to do a job. I'm just going to be the owner. Now, owners can give their opinions, but you can't force your head coach now to have to defend your opinions.
That's the problem.
Yes.
Like, I go back
because Aaron Glenn might not disagree.
Right.
But now it feels not in his control.
Well, I go
and
back.
So he almost has to, I think he almost has to start Justin Fields.
To show that he's making the decision?
Yes. Because think about it. If he starts, I know Tyrod Taylor is on the injury list and is whatever it is, questionable for this game. But if he were to start Tyrod Taylor, regardless if it was actually his decision, wouldn't we say this is what Woody wanted?
Yes. And that's exactly what a lot of people said about the decision to not bring Aaron Rodgers back.
Yes.
Whether it was Aaron Glenn's decision or not, and there's still a ton of people that believe it, maybe rightfully so, that Woody Johnson told him, we're not bringing back Aaron Rodgers. And no matter what was said or the truth is, that's the perception. So you're right. Like, if Tyrod Taylor is the starting quarterback on Sunday, it sounds as if that decision came from Woody Johnson.
Right.
And I go
back. Even if it didn't.
Right. It doesn't matter. Well, I go back to the John Mara, Joe Shane, Saquon Barkley thing. Now, the difference is that was months later. Like, we saw the video months later.
Yes.
But in the moment, I'm
talking about the trade and...
No, I'm talking about the Saquon Barkley leaving thing.
Yeah. Oh, not the trade, the free agency.
Right. Remember the whole I'm not going to be able to sleep, all that kind of crap. If that came out in real time, we would have all said, oh, my God, John Mara's putting pressure on Joe Shane to bring Saquon Barkley back.
Yes.
They almost have to let him go just to have the perception we made our own decision.
Yeah, but I also think that's different because it's a franchise and an organizational decision. Saquon Barkley was one of the most popular Giants of the last decade. He sells a ton of jerseys. He has the potential to be a Pro Bowl type player. From a business standpoint, it made sense for John Mara to want to keep Saquon Barkley or not have him go play for the Eagles right down the road.
Right.
This is different.
This is a football decision.
This is a football decision, and in like a game player management decision that seems like it's being kicked up to the owner as opposed to the head coach.
Which is why, as much as we all love to hear from an owner every once in a while, Woody Johnson opening his mouth yesterday made Aaron Glenn's job tougher.
Yes.
And Aaron Glenn already has maybe the toughest job in America. He has to coach the garbage New York Jets. Like, think about that job.
Right.
That's probably worse than any job you could have. We got people trying to run for mayor right now. That's not a great job. I would argue being the head coach of the New York Jets is more thankless and horrific than that. And so when Woody Johnson speaks, whether you agree with it, disagree with it, or don't even care about it, Aaron Glenn had to spend, because I listened to the whole thing, 75% of his press conference basically either defending Woody Johnson's comments or making sure everyone realizes I make the decisions.
Yes.
That's horrific. He already has to deal with an ugly quarterback decision. He already has to deal with the fact that they're 0-7. He has to deal with that, and he spent most of today, and you laid it out, like your initial reaction is, boy, Aaron Glenn's basically telling the owner, shut up.
Right.
Well, yeah, because he's making his job already thankless more difficult.
Right. When now he's got to make a decision and somehow spin the perception that it's his decision and not the owner's decision. Now, again, he'll keep saying it over and over and over again, but if he starts Tyrod Taylor, then we're going to think this was Woody's decision. And that's unfair to Aaron Glenn because it probably actually is Aaron Glenn's decision. He sees and understands the exact same things that Woody and every Jet fan is seeing. That is, Justin Fields, particularly over the last 2 games, has been inept as a quarterback.
You know what?
So, what do you have to do as a coach? Put your team in the best position to win. And if Justin Fields is not that guy, then the other guy has to play.
But here's where it's his decision, but it may not be. Okay, you and I are on vacation, and Sean and Tommy are hosting the show that day. And Sean and Tommy come up with a plan for the show. They really want to open with the New York Yankees. And that's their plan.
Yep.
They're going to open with the New York Yankees. And the architect walks by, he's the boss, and says, hey, what are you guys opening with? And they're like, well, we're opening with the New York Yankees. And the architect says, well, I'll tell you, if it was me, I'd probably open with Jackson Dart. What do you think those guys are opening with at 205?
Jackson Dart.
Now, but they were allowed to make the decision.
Of course.
Because the architect even said, hey, you guys are the host. You do what you want. What are you guys opening with at 205?
Jackson Dart.
Okay.
No question.
And that's my point. Like,
Yeah.
I don't disagree that Aaron Glenn is allowed to do what he wants as head coach, that Darren Muji is allowed to do what he wants as GM. But when the owner comes out and just throws dirt all over the quarterback, what do you think the head coach is thinking, even if it is his own decision?
Yeah. No, he's thinking this is influenced by the owner who hired me. I think the challenge for Aaron Glenn, and it just got a little more complicated, is that he's got to present as if he's still in control. He can't be arguing with media members. He can't be, taking them to task on things like this. You have to understand why they're asking that question, which is the same thing that we're doing. We understand why you would think that Justin Fields has played his last game as a starter for the New York Jets because the owner said so. So understanding where the media is coming from, like having some empathy for that media member, who was that, Jordan?
That was Rich Cimini.
Rich Cimini. Having that empathy for Rich Cimini is important. Otherwise, you're going to start fighting these battles that you're just not going to win.
And he's fighting battles, it seems like, every other day.
Yes.
He's almost got to find a way. And look, this all comes down to wins and losses.
Again, they don't matter. Like, the battles don't matter.
No, of
they
course
don't
not.
matter. They mean nothing.
That's why it's not worth fighting battles.
Yes.
Arguing with Rich Cimini about the semantics of what Woody Johnson said. I mean, come on, Aaron. We all heard what Woody said. Yeah. He's telling.
He doesn't like Justin Fields.
He doesn't like Justin Fields. You're going to play the semantics game of, well, did he say that? Did he actually specifically say that? Dude, the human language is a thing where we don't necessarily say everything point blank, but you can certainly imply what people are saying. And the owner basically said the guy sucks.
Right.
That's what the owner said. And the other question, which we will tackle in just a few minutes, is a question that I think is worth asking over and over again. Why did you sign this man? Your first order of business in being the head coach and the general manager, so I'm talking about both Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji, was to make an Aaron Rodgers decision and then replace him in the short term. Okay? That was your first big decision. Now, did Woody Johnson allow it to be whoever he hires decides?
Clearly he did.
He did, but he may not have, because in those interviews, which I was not a part of, was he more partial to the GMs and coaches who said, I want Rodgers gone? I have no idea. I don't know. And that's a fair question, because it's playing the word game. That doesn't mean the owner ordered get rid of Rodgers.
Yes.
But was he more likely to hire somebody whose idea was, hey, I'm moving on from Rodgers? That's a possibility.
Yeah. No, you're right. And so I don't want, for Aaron Glenn's sake, us to start questioning every decision that he makes. And at this point, we have to feel like that's the case. At least the big ones. The big one was Aaron Rodgers. And then you have the draft decisions. That is what it is. I'm going to trust that was Muji and the scouting staff and everybody else. But now we're getting the first in-season major decision. Are you benching Justin Fields, who you paid $40 million over 2 years with $30 million guaranteed? Are you benching him? And if you are, is it because the owner said so? Because we already feel like Aaron Rodgers is gone because the owner said so.
Yep.
Now is this in-season decision going to happen because the owner said so?
No, that's a great point, and it's a real worry.
Right.
We'll get to your calls next, 888-808-1019, including what Aaron Glenn did say about his quarterback decision and what he didn't say about his quarterback decision. And we do try to figure out why this happened to begin with.